The dynamic of owning one's shadow is just as important as owning one's light shadow. In other words, owning one's lightness is as important as owning one's shadow. We talk about the dynamic as a movement, an energy of paradox, where you have the light shadow on one end of the paradox, and you have dark shadow on the other end. You could do it good and evil, anything like that. They are two sides of the same coin. And when you can look at yourself in that holistic way, as that whole dynamic from this shadow all the way to this one, and to claim that holistic, to have that moment of understanding that this is who I am, all of the light, all of the dark, no judgment. And all of a sudden, you find yourself rising to a third position that gives you a perspective on everything and allows you to hold that dynamic of identity that you are talking about, where you can choose to stand in the light because the dark is no longer, what shall we say, manipulating your behavior because of denial. The reason that most people get lost in the dynamics, when they do get lost in the dynamics of the dark, it is because they're denying that piece of themselves. But as you accept that piece of yourself, you can also accept the good, the light piece of yourself, and that's all of a sudden it's not all of a sudden, it's perhaps takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of exercise, but there is that moment where you realize, this is who I am. This is who I am as a whole being. And usually what happens, the extreme light cancels out the extreme dark. And you find yourself that, in fact, you find yourself to be quite acceptable in that whole space that is a mixture of both the light and the dark, which is that whole space in between the paradoxes, between the extremes.